So I'm preparing for this book like, oh, it's gonna be spooky, spooky. It wasn't spooky at all. It was actually incredibly underwhelming, to be exact. The first time I heard of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I believe was when I watched The Page Master when I was probably around 5 years old. The Page Master is a fantastic movie. You should probably watch it if you haven't watched it yet. And there's a scene in The Page Master where there's Dr. Jekyll and he turns into Mr. Hyde. I'm pretty sure that is where I first heard of the story. And it intrigued me a lot. I was expecting the book to be really good because you see Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in a lot of things. And I was just getting all excited to be reading a good, creepy-ish book. But no, not really. I think that's actually the problem, is that we've seen Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in a lot of pop culture, and I think that's kind of wrecked it for me. In this book, you're put into the point of view of Mr. Utterson, and he's really not that interesting. I don't know why you weren't put into the shoes of Dr. Jekyll. Actually, this is sort of a spoiler, but the very end chapter, it is in the shoes of Dr. Jekyll, and to me, that was like the best part of the book. I found that so interesting. It was explaining his internal struggles and everything, and when he turns into Mr. Hyde, it was really interesting. I liked that part of the book. The rest of the book just didn't do it for me. It wasn't bad. It was decent. It was a decent read. I actually did have enjoyment in it. It was just kind of boring. Sorry, I can't say that. I didn't find it boring. I actually did really enjoy Stevenson's writing. I found he wrote really well and really beautifully. There's just something that didn't really grasp me there. I don't know what it was. I think it's just knowing that he wrote this at a time period where this was complete science fiction. And it was a big thing. I mean, that's also one of the reasons why it's good as well. I just think he could have made it better. He could have made it longer. He could have made it... Here's me telling Robert Louis Stevenson how he should write. I should probably shut up. But anyway, I guess I'm being a bit harsh on the story. It was good. It just wasn't exactly what I wanted. And that's probably just because the expectation was so dang high. This is gonna sound really horrible, but there wasn't enough deaths. Is that it? I expected more from you, Mr. Hyde. I expected more. I was expecting there to be some murders going on around London, and you know, all these tales of this monster man going around wrecking havoc and everything. I think he ended up killing like 2 people, and then he was discovered. However, the other strange tales in this book, such as the Bottle Imp and the Body Snatcher, I think I actually enjoyed those ones a lot more. So anyway guys, I just wanted to give you my quick thoughts on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and how it didn't really live up to expectations, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's a bad book. I did have enjoyment with it, just it wasn't what I was expecting at all. But the good thing about this book is that it's very short, so I do recommend reading it just to say you've read it, because it's a classic. So go ahead and give it a read, and why not comment your thoughts down below if you have read it. Maybe you liked it. Maybe you found it more enjoyable than I did. So anyway guys, I will see you in my next video. So sorry. I'll never do that to you again. I hope my light isn't like shining it out. Maybe I should put it over here. Is that better? I don't know. I don't have a viewfinder on my camera.